Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a double crochet stitch. Here is an example of what it is going to look like. Double crochet stitch is usually abbreviated as DC on written patterns, so if you ever see that on your pattern, then you're going to want to know how to do a double crochet, which I will show you how to do right now. Alright, so let's get started with the double crochet. Today I'm using a size 4 acrylic yarn, basic stitch by Lion Brand, and I'm also using a 5mm crochet hook. So while working in the double crochet, we're always going to chain 3 at the end of every row, and that counts as our turning chain. If you remember from my other tutorial, for single crochets we always chain 1 at the end of every row. For half double crochet we chain 2, and for double crochet we chain 3. And the reason is because each of these stitches is about 3 chains tall, so whenever you're working in your rows and you want to turn, you're going to want to chain 3 in order to compensate for that next row. So let's get started with a slip knot and chains. So since this swatch is 20 stitches across, we're going to start with a chain of 23 because we add 3 at the end of every row. And if you need a refresher on how to do a slip knot and chains, I have a video for that as well. But for now, just go ahead and get started and chain 23. Alright, so now that we have our 23 chains, we're going to go ahead and look for that 4th chain from the hook, because if you remember, we need 3 chains to count as the turning chain. So 1, 2, 3, this is the 4th chain, this is the one you're going to start in. So just like the half double crochet, we're going to wrap our yarn around before we insert our hook. So go ahead and yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4, find the 4th chain, and we're only going to be working into that half part of that chain. So instead of going through both of the loops of the chain, we're only going to go through the top half. So what that looks like is, you see the little V right here? We're only going to insert our hook into the top part of that V. And once your hook is all the way through, you're going to yarn over and grab the yarn and pull it through that chain. So as you can see, we now have 3 loops on our hook. From there, we're going to yarn over by bringing the hook in front of the working yarn and wrapping it around. And then from here, we're only going to pull through the first 2 loops that are on our hook. So now we should be at this point where we still have 2 loops on our hook. Again, we're going to yarn over by bringing our hook in front of the working yarn, wrapping around, and now we pull through 2. So there we go. You can see our first double crochet stitch. Let's go ahead and do one more together. So go ahead and find the next chain that you're going to be working into. Grab your hook and you're going to wrap it around in front of the working yarn. Wrap it around once, and you see the top half of the V. We're only going to go into the top half. So go ahead and stick your hook through. You're going to yarn over and hook and pull through that chain. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over by bringing our hook in front of the working yarn, and we're only going to pull through the first 2 loops. So pull through the first 2 and then bring your hook up. And now we have 2 stitches left. So again, we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So there we go. We have 2 double crochets formed. Let's go ahead and do one more together. Find the next chain, bring your hook out in front of your yarn to wrap around once, stick your hook into the top part of the chain, grab the yarn with your hook and pull through that chain, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So if you ever get confused on how many times you've yarned over and pulled through 2, you're just going to want to keep repeating that step until you only have 1 loop on your hook. So what I mean by that is if you, let's say you insert your hook into the top chain and then you yarn over and pull through 2, you still have 2 loops left on your hook. So you want to make sure you yarn over and pull through 2 again until you only have 1 loop on your hook. So go ahead and keep practicing all the way to the end of your chain, and I'll meet you at the end. All right, so here is our work so far. We have 1 chain left. Let's go ahead and finish that off together. Yarn over, stick your hook into half of the chain, hook that working yarn through, yarn over, bring your working yarn through 2, and pull through 2. So there you go. You can see that the double crochets are forming. Each of these is a double crochet stitch. You can tell they're a little bit taller than the single crochet and the half double crochets that we've been making so far. And alternatively, you can also look from the top view to count how many stitches you've done so far, so you can kind of keep track and make sure you didn't lose any stitches along the way. All right, so now that that row is over, you're going to go ahead and chain 3. So this is going to count as your turning chain, and then you're going to flip your work over, and then you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from the hook, because the first 3 count as the turning chain. So in the second row, we're going to start by going underneath both of the loops in the chain. So if you look on the side, you can see that there's a little gap underneath the 2 chains right here. So you're going to go ahead and yarn over, stick your hook in that gap underneath both of the chain loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there you go. That is your your first chain in the second row. Let's go ahead and do one more. So you're going to see the next chain right here. Remember, you're going to go underneath both of them. So go ahead and yarn over, stick your hook underneath both of those loops, wrap your yarn around, pull through both of those loops, bring your yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So go ahead and keep practicing that, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So here we are nearing the end of our second row, and you will see that we have 1 stitch left. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over, stick your hook underneath both of the loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And there we go. That is the second row of double crochets. So again, to start the third row, we are going to start by chaining 3 before we flip over our work. You're always going to look for the 4th chain from the hook, because the first 3 count as the turning chain. So always start in the 4th chain from the hook. And then, except for the first foundation row that we made, you are going to always stick your hook underneath both of the loops. The first row is the only exception because it didn't have a row of stitches underneath it. It only had a chain. So whenever you're working rows after that first foundation row, then you're always going to stick your hook in underneath both of the loops of the chain instead of just half. All right, and let's say we wanted to end our swatch on the third row what you're going to do is you're going to finish off that last stitch until you only have one left. And then you're going to go ahead and cut that yarn. And be sure to leave a little bit of a tail so it's not quite as choked up on your work. And the way you're going to end your work is just by yarning over, pulling through, and just making a chain and pulling all the way through. And that'll create a nice knot for you, and your work is complete. So just for a quick comparison, if you remember from my other videos where I showed you how to do a half double crochet stitch and a single crochet stitch, you will see that the double crochet is the tallest of the 3 stitches. All of these swatches are 20 stitches across and 14 rows up. So you will see that when you're working with double crochet, your work tends to form a lot faster just because every single one of these stitches is a little bit taller. So when you're working with double crochet, you'll find that your work tends to form really fast, which is really helpful if you're trying to make something really big like a blanket or a scarf or anything like that. So yeah, this is just the difference between the 3 stitches: single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. Thank you so much for watching my video on how to do a double crochet. If anything was unclear or you guys had any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below and I would be happy to help you out on your crochet journey. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!